I love all the birds. You can hear a couple roosters in the background. Pretty sure those are ours. Hey everybody. Today is a special video. As you can tell, we are not at the garden. We are on my front porch. I kind of want to explain a little bit about our farm. So for those of you that have watched some of our videos, you've seen our soil. And you've seen our latest garden update video. You saw some of the stunted growth that we have in the garden, and you saw some of the things that are doing pretty good. And I kind of want to explain a little more about what we are doing on our farm. So we have chickens, we are raising beef, and we actually sold our first beef this year, which is really exciting. And we got our first calf, a little heifer calf. I'll put a picture up of her because she's so cute. And then we started our farm technically, I guess, 3 years ago, but that first year we didn't do much except kind of prepare the garden. So we fenced off, I want to say it was like a 1/16 of an acre. And we tilled that area somewhat with a tractor. And really, I was really new to gardening. I didn't know what I was doing. And I came across my husband's old gallon Ziploc bag full of seeds from like 2013, 2015, right? And I was just throwing seeds out like on the ground. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of like, okay, we'll water them, we'll see what grows. And then we planted some oriental corn that I had found. I want to say in a trade group when I was like, oh, we need more seed. And I really wasn't liking some of the things that I found in packages. I just didn't think that they would grow well here. And so I joined a trade group, and I was trading seeds with people from some of the seeds we did buy that year. And then, because they weren't old seeds, I was trading. I didn't want to, I know they have some shelf life viability, length, and whatnot. At that point, I knew that. And so I was trading seeds. We planted that oriental corn. We planted peppers. We planted squash. And of all we planted, oh, and cucumber. Of all we planted, we had, and jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, we had one cucumber plant grow. I'll put a picture of the only cucumber we ever got off that plant up. And then we got a bunch of pumpkin that surprisingly came up, except we planted too late. And so all of our pumpkins that we harvested, like it was already past Halloween when we harvested them. So we have like almost no use for these pumpkins because we were growing them to sell for our first crop that we were going to sell. So we had a pile of pumpkins in our living room forever. And then like a couple stalks of the oriental corn came up, and those, I want to say we harvested like 2 or 3 cobs that were okay condition, surprisingly. And then the only other thing that came up well that year was Boule D'or melon, which we have a video about that. Not the first instance that we grew them, but Boule D'or melon that came up from volunteer from those original plants that we grew, and those seeds were from 2013, stored in a gallon Ziploc baggie in my husband's closet. So I was surprised those came up. They ended up being a favorite, so we've kept them around. Anyways, back to the garden. Sorry, I got off topic there. So our soil was, for a long time, a frack pond. the area we're gardening on. A long time ago, it was a frack pond. Back when my husband was little, he remembers standing on the edge of the frack pond and looking into it and seeing like the depth and the size and this huge trench pretty much in the field that we garden in. And when they stopped fracking, or when they started fracking, they went and they took all the topsoil and pushed it up against the tree line for that field. And then when they filled it in with just some random dirt and sand. So we don't have topsoil in our garden. And I don't know if anyone really realizes how important that is, but that is years and years and years and years of built up microorganisms and nutrition and macronutrients and just organic matter. All of the things that had been there in that field were gone. And they had covered that whole area with a black tarp for a few years while they were kind of like moving stuff in and moving stuff out and stuff like that. And so it was covered with a black tarp and drove on for months after all the topsoil had been stripped off. So this soil that we are growing in is just like, and then after this, there were cows kind of grazing on it, but it was just weeds that grew because when they took all that topsoil, it took all the native grasses and all of that stuff out of the equation. So there was just weeds, compressed clay and sand and dirt, and cows were stomping on it, and weeds. That was it. So we really had our work cut out for us when we started gardening in this area. We are slowly working on getting the nutrients up and building some more organic matter in the soil. This is our third year. That first year we added nothing, like at all, nothing. We just kind of tilled it up a little bit with the tractor, really couldn't make much of a dent, and then threw some seeds on the ground, and that was that. The second year, we actually had a pretty good garden going. And part of that, I really think, is the fact that we took all that greenery, that like the weeds and the greenery that were growing out there, and we just tilled them into the garden and then laid out our rows and planted in them. And so all that organic green matter that was up on the top was tilled in, and that was like a natural fertilizer pretty much for the garden. This year, we did till, but we didn't till in as much green matter. So I've noticed that a lot of our plants are not doing as well as I would like. I have fertilized them once. I'm really not a big fertilizer type of person. Of course, I know that plants need certain nutrition and whatnot, and if I see them lacking in that, I'll offer it to them. But part of our issue is our soil is kind of locked up. We did some soil testing last year, and it was extremely alkaline. Like, I'm talking like an 8 on the scale, 8.5 maybe. And what can happen sometimes with that is that it will block your plants from soaking up nutrients from the soil. And this is something that, like, I didn't really find out until this year, because of course I do a lot of research and I try to figure out what's wrong, why things aren't performing like I would like, what can I do to fix it, you know, just stuff like that. So when we did the garden last year, one of the things that we inputted into the soil is we got 7 cubic feet of composted horse manure and kind of like hay chips and stuff like that. And we spread that out on the garden. And I really think that helped a lot. We'll probably need to finish off that pile and then order some more, because that really did help put some nutrients in the soil. I've actually noticed mushrooms growing all over our garden this year, and I'm surprised that some of the plants are not doing as well, and I want to say it's because we tilled again. I found out recently that if you till more than So the first till is going to be the best till. After that, your goal is really to kind of like work in nutrients, but not till in nutrients. And a lot of times when you're tilling in nutrients, you're killing ground bees that you need for your garden. People don't think about that either, but I think that's important, and we kind of messed up a little bit there. Anyways, so our soil is not great. We screwed up and we tilled again instead of adding on top and kind of working in. And we are trying to unlock the nutrients in our soil for our plants. And one of the ways we did that last year on top of the compost was we tilled in a bunch of, not tilled in, we added a bunch of rock phosphate, which can help bring down pH. We put, I don't know, at least 100 pounds of it in a quarter acre, I want to say. We spread it out and then watered that in all year. And this year I took a soil test and it went down 0.25%. That's it. A quarter percent. Or a quarter value. So that did not help as much as we had thought it was going to. And our next goal to try to fix our soil is to put out compost, mulch with hay and wood chips and whatnot, and hopefully I've also been putting in inoculant, which is a it's a rhizomial booster. It's really good for legumes, but it's also, I mean, you can use it in most areas of your garden if they need more nitrogen, or if you need to unlock a certain macronutrient. You can get different types of inoculant. But anyways, we've tried a lot of things so far to help our garden, and I guess I'm kind of looking for maybe some further advice. With what I've told y'all about it, I really feel like I've kind of given a good picture of what we're working with, some things that we've tried, and it's so it's like 75% sand. There's maybe 10 to 15% clay. The clay gets thicker the deeper you go into the soil. Like when we're digging post holes, you can tell about 1.5 feet to 2 foot deep. It starts to get a little more clay. And then there's like a little bit of loam in it. So, and it's salty. I don't know how to fix the saltiness. Either way, this is just kind of a video to explain what's going on with our garden, and to kind of ask for advice and see what things people bring, what ideas people bring that I haven't thought of, or that my husband hasn't thought of, that we haven't seen online anywhere. I'd really appreciate any input people have. And then let's see. Hi, the puppies. Hi, puppies. Goodness. Anyways, I really appreciate y'all joining us. Any tips are appreciated. If you are going through similar issues, and you want to know how to fix it, I would definitely comment on this video, and then if I find something out, like if I figure out how to unlock the secret soil nutrition, I will comment on your comment and tell you what I did, even if it's like 2 years from now, and let you know what I did. And that way maybe we can help each other out. Anyways, I have to get inside and make some lunch, so I will talk to y'all later. I really appreciate y'all joining us. I can't wait to get out to the garden in a little and see how everything's doing. And maybe we will see you then. Talk to you later. Bye.